Hello, everyone, and we are Generation Transformation. Name pending. We are creatives, we are artists, we are unconventional, just people moving through the world, and we just also happen to be mother and daughter. And so we just wanted to hop on live because we're just interested in just having this conversation. Um, and would you like for me to refer to you as just Arlene, or would you like me to refer to you as mom while we're talking?
Let's do just Arlene.
Okay. So you're just Arlene today, and I will
So
honor that.
yes, so that I could get the full you.
Okay. Oh,
I don't want to get the daughter version of you.
okay. We can do that. Well, do you want to share what we'll be talking about today? And first of all, how did this conversation come about? And kind of what we're talking about today.
The conversation we're talking about trust, we're talking about expectations and more. And the reason the conversation came about is we always get in the car and want to just drive and have a conversation. So every time we're in the car, we have these great conversations. We're always recording it. We have yet to put it in a podcast. We have yet to put them out there. But we always have these great conversations from my perspective as a mother and your perspective as a daughter. And the fact that we come from different generations, it makes a difference the way in how we look at things. Um, and, my generation, like, we even talked about being punctual.
Yeah.
We talked about being punctual. And what did I explain to you? I explained to you that, I grew up in an era where being at the appointment is at 2 o'clock. And being there at 2 o'clock, you was considered late.
Right.
From my perspective, I don't like to rush. So since I don't like to rush, I'm the one that'll always get there the 15 minutes ahead of time just so I don't have to rush. It also gives me time to settle down. It gives me time to decompress whatever it is that I experience going, like I explained to you, the traffic. People been cutting me off for the last 15 minutes. People been blowing their horns. That all gets your adrenaline going.
Yeah.
So now, if I get to work at 7 o'clock on a dot, it's time for me to go straight into work mode. You might have been listening to the radio and they're talking about, negative stuff. So you're starting at a medium vibration. So that 15 minutes allows you time to decompress everything you just experienced in the last 15 to 30 minutes and start fresh. So I like to get there in time so that I can start fresh. And a lot of people don't agree with that method. It was like, oh, I'm on time, but I like to decompress before I start my day. And by the way, my name is Arlene. I am an author, a creator. I like to talk. I like to connect with people. I like to network. And I like to learn about other people's cultures.
Yeah.
That's me.
That's you. And I'm Phae. I'm an artist. I'm a creative. I'm a mystic. I love the stars. I love nature. I love magic. I love blackness, liberation. I love all those things. Those things make me happy. And what I think about all the time. Um, so that was just like we had those random intros there. But yeah, and just for context, what is your generation? Like, what generation do you come from?
What are we? Generation what?
What are you, X? Gen X?
X. Gen X.
Yeah, and I'm a millennial. And the reason why we decided on the name Generation Transformation, and we should really look into that. So we decided on Generation Transformation because because we come from different generations, we do have different views on things, but we also see things very similarly. And I honestly believe that the generation gap is a myth, and I just think it's just one more thing that people try to use to divide people. People try to use like race, age, all types of things to divide people. And we are just having these conversations to kind of like bust the myth of the generation gap. Like, I think wisdom can be learned from each generation. I think everybody can learn from each other. And I just think like you get older I just think there's this understanding that as people age, they become wiser. And so when they look at someone who is in a different place, sometimes it may seem like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. They're all over the place. They're scatterbrained when no one was born an adult. Everybody came into this life knowing. And sometimes understanding from a millennial standpoint, sometimes we can look at Gen X and be like, oh, da da da. So everybody has their grips and gripes about each generation. And I'm not saying that they're not valid. But what I'm saying is, I just think it's not productive to get hung up on the differences when there's so much wisdom that we can learn from each other. And so that's, and just really transform how we approach life and how we move through the world. And so that's why Generation Transformation was such a cool name that Arlene came up with. Like how transformational it is for me to be, calling her by her name, like in this moment where like human beings, like of course a mother and daughter, but we're human beings in this moment. So I think even in that self, that's transformational for Black people to be having this conversation, to be two different generations, to go beyond and transcend what it means to be of different generations. So, Arlene,
Yes.
let's get into it. So, you were talking a bit about how the conversation started. Like we're in the car, we always have these conversations, and shared your generation gap, you're Gen X, I'm millennial. And so we were having a conversation about trust. What for you what were you thinking about in terms of broaching trust? Like,
Ooh. Um, Trust is a tricky topic for me. Trust, I had a hard time trusting people.
mm,
And not that anyone told me not to trust anyone. I know you're born and they tell you don't trust strangers. But what I've learned at this adult age is that my trust issues, I inflicted that on myself.
what do you mean you looked at that? What do you mean?
I told myself, don't trust this person for this reason without getting it too in depth with it. But
Right.
don't trust this person with that reason and don't trust this person for this reason. So I gave myself all the excuses in the world not to trust someone. And so in that instinct, I moved through the world like that for a very, very long time. I'm actually in my healing, um, in my therapy, in my coaching, in my everything. I'm learning, you know what? Allow people to violate their trust with themselves. Don't just always assume that everybody's the villain. So I'm at a space in life now that I am saying, okay, I'll be your friend. Whereas before, if my spirit gave me a little inkling, something may be, oh, looky, Frenzies, cheers. Now today I'm more. I think that my wisdom that I've grown through the years, my experience that I've had in life versus what someone taught me or told me, I'm moving through the world with my own experiences. So therefore, now with the healing and the forgiveness, because I have my book on forgiveness. I had a lot of forgiving to do. So when I worked through all of those and the self-love and the meditations, it allowed me to put down a couple of guardrails. It allowed me to put, what do you call it, brick walls or whatever you want to refer to it as. It allowed me to put those things down. So now I am giving people an opportunity to make their own mistakes.
Yeah.
Give me the reason not to trust them versus just not trusting anyone. And since I've moved through the world like that now, I see life has gotten a lot lighter.
Mhm. Yeah. You named something really interesting of just like, whenever your spirit was like, oh, you can't trust this person, then you would be like, you would act accordingly. So how do you know the difference between your spirit and your like, I don't want to say anxiety, but that voice that tells you can't trust people? Like, how do you differentiate between the two?
You'll know. Because one, I pray over everything and I ask for guidance.
Mm.
So if I feel something in my stomach, then I'm going to ask for guidance on the issue. And whatever is told to me or revealed to me, I go with that.
Come on, reveal. Come on, reveal. Yeah, because I think that's something that I've been moving through in terms of trust. Because I'm also someone who's really in tune with my gut and my spirit, and I realized that sometimes what I think is my spirit is really just my anxiety, and it's just really just that like preconceived notion, like you can't trust these people, you're gonna be taken advantage of, like da 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 da. Like that is something that I've been moving through recently, and I've been trying to rewire. I've also just been trying to figure out the difference between discomfort
Mm.
and realizing that discomfort isn't necessarily a threat. Like I think there's different types of discomfort. I
Hello,
think.
Daryl.
Are you saying hi to Daryl?
Yes. Thanks for.
Um. But yeah. So I think that's something that I've been moving through is just knowing what is my spirit really, and I think my spirit can tell me this is uncomfortable, but I think it's up to me to recognize what kind of discomfort. Like, is it a productive comfort? Because I feel like, for certain things in life, you have to go out of your comfort zone in order to get it. Like, sometimes you gotta work a little harder in the gym if you're trying to get those gains. Like sometimes you have to like start that new job that you've never done before, and it's gonna be uncomfortable and it's scary. So sometimes the newness is scary. But I think it's just I think I'm realizing that it's all about discernment, and that it's up to me. It's really up to me to really discern what is what.
Yeah, yeah. I think, like I said, you'll see the signs. The signs will come, and you will just know which is which. But sometimes staying in our comfort zones, we miss a lot of opportunities. As you know, I am. Oh, sure, I'll try it. I'm that person that I'll just try anything. But I go into anything that I'm trying. I already go into the mindset of what I want in it and what I want out of it.
Mm.
So having those two options going into anything helps me navigate how um how it's going to turn out for me.
Yeah.
You, and this goes to expectations. I'll go into something, just let's say an example, like someone asked me to do a job, but I know they didn't give me the proper instructions for the job. The old me would have just turned it down, and then because it would have caused me to go back and forth with the person arguing. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to say, oh, you want the job done. I'm going to utilize the tools you gave me to get the job done.
Yeah.
In my mind, it won't be to perfection, but it'll be to what you instructed. You understand what I'm saying? But in the meantime, I'm going to collect that change. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm going to collect the change and knowing that I'm going to put my best into it with instructions that you gave me.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people, they ask you to do something and they know it's more than you can really do or more than they're willing to pay.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll take the little bit of chump change, ching, 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 and I'll do what I can with the information you gave me. And I won't set any additional expectations.
Yeah. You're better than me. Like you taught me that, like, and also, yeah, you really taught me that, like, negotiating is not a threat, and that, like, negotiating is conflict resolution. But I'm also just someone who doesn't have a lot of energy. Like, I'm someone who gets tired very easily. So if I find that the situation is tiring, I'm just gonna cut it off. Like, I'm not gonna go back and forth. Like, if you were coming to me for a thing, I'm not. And I don't know if that's a millennial thing. That's probably just a me thing. I don't think I'm not gonna overgeneralize. I don't speak for every millennial, but
Hmm.
like, I just not gonna go back and forth with someone. And I think sometimes I do block my blessings in that way. I definitely do. But I'm interested to know, so were you always like this? Like, were you always like willing to just take the opportunity as it was, or were there moments in your journey in your life that you were similar to me? Like, oh, this is looks like it's too much. I'm not doing this.
Oh, I'm never turning down money like that. It I could do the world. I feel like I could do anything. And so because I feel like I can do anything, I'm always up for the challenge.
Mm,
So because I always, and that's why I've done so many little things. Like people be like, you did that and that. Yeah, I did all of that because I'm always willing to one, learn something new, do something different. That keeps my adrenaline flowing. That keeps me happy. I get bored easy. So taking on these challenges, I'm not afraid to do it.
yeah. Yeah, you are very adventurous and very a lot of novelty. And the thing about me is I'm willing to do the adventure if I find that there's someone doing the adventure. Sometimes I venture out on my own, but like not always. Like once you do the adventure, don't I join you most of the time, depending on if I have the energy. I don't always have the energy, but we just go on an adventure the other day.
You breaking up?
Oh, I'm breaking up.
Oh yeah, for a second. Yeah, and it's funny because I tend to get us into a lot of stuff. Yeah, we did go on an adventure the other day.
You go into everything under the sun.
Yeah, but at the same time, you pull learning experiences out of all of this. It teaches you how to these adventures that I go on. You always get a lesson out of it. You always get some type of experience out of it, something you're taking away from it. So that's what I live for. I live to do these things to walk away with knowing something different than when I went in.
Yeah,
That that excites me. That makes me happy.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I would love to ask you, like, so if you're speaking from a generational standpoint about trust, and I know you have some questions and we can get to the question, but you were talking about, being punctual. Like in your like growing up, you were there were certain like aspects of what being punctual is. And so in terms of trust, was there a specific way? Was there like a barometer to know how to trust people? Like what was instilled in you to let you know that this is how this is if you see this, you could trust this person, and if you see this, you can't trust this person. Did you have those moments growing up?
I actually didn't. I just had my gut.
Mm,
I just had my gut. If my gut said, like, I remember growing up and we were going out with some guys, and my gut said, don't get in the car with these guys. And I was told my friend, I was like, hey, let's not get in the car. Let's not go or whatever. And we did. And they wound up either getting into an accident or something happened. They ran into some trouble with the cops.
mm,
So I was always one to, hey, that don't feel good. That don't feel right. I ain't going in your house. I'm not doing any of those things. So, and just now as I've matured and aged and wisdom, um, I could let some of those guards down and just be free with it. I'm at a stage I just want to be free with it right now. And whatever happens, happens.
you been tapped in. You been tapped in. What it sounds like to me.
I'm willing to just let things go because, I moved from a place of I always want to be in control. So that trust was always about me being in control.
Mm,
I'm now moving from a place of I'm going to release some of this control and just let things be. So I will be going with the flow and still new, still working through it. Excuse me, still working through it. And I say for right now, the load has been lighter since
yeah.
I control because things seem to be falling into place because now I'm not worried about it. Before I was trying to make it happen, project when it's going to happen. And as long as I was doing those things, I was all stressed out. So now I'm like, whatever's on tables on the table. And I sleep at night very comfortably at night.
Very comfortably, period.
No, because I'm like, it's out of my control. I just had to just release. Throw my hands up, I give up. And and just release and let it be what it's gonna be. And I find I sleep better at night. I'm not waking up in the middle of the night to say what I need to be doing or how productive I can make my day. No, I get up when I get up and whatever happens, happens.
Put my hands up and surrender.
I did like, whew,
Right
and
above
thi-
my door.
and things have been truly, truly, truly falling into place in ways that I could not even imagine. And it's like thing after thing after thing. And I just think like one of the things was for me to be still. I think spirits and angels and everybody else have been telling me be still sending me signs to be still for a long time.
Yes.
And I was fighting that be still. And I gotta do this and I gotta do this and I gotta do this. But now I'm being still. It's just like a whole bunch of rewards are being sent my way. I'm like, ooh, all right, let me go lay down some more. so for so where I wasn't willing to lay down before and I wasn't willing to let go control, I am now willing to do those things. And life has been really good since, so I can't complain. I'm not gonna complain. Things are not exactly perfect, but baby, I'm taking it.
Okay.
Sip time. Think yes, darling. Darling.
It feels good to hear that. I think it sounds like we're in the same place. I think I was telling you that earlier in terms of like, sorry, the hearts. That was so cute. Um, no,
Sorry.
huh?
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that I think it feels
I
good.
got oh,
It feels good to know. Hello. It feels good to know that we're in the same place. It sounds like I think something I've been sitting with, and this is for like all the astrological girlies, all the Cosmo babes. Like, I feel like I've been leaning more into the Venusian energy, and Venus is like allowance. It's just like luxury, slowness, ease, and like it's leaning into all of those things and just like beauty and allowing. And I think I've been so like Mars and Saturn focused, and Saturn is like structure. Saturn is a container. Mars is like passion, drive, boom, 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 boom. Like I'm just coming out my Saturn return. So I had to learn discipline and devotion and all those things. And so for the last 3 years, I've been fighting literally for my life. Like literally fighting for my life. Like I had to relearn what spirituality meant for me. I had to learn what wellness meant for me. I got really sick. I had to learn what I really value in terms of how I make my money. Like, I thought was going to make money a certain way, but as a neurodivergent babe, it's like, no, you don't make money that way. You have to make another way. So I had to embrace what making money looks like for me and feeling weird in that and just embracing like you're not weird, you're not broken, you just have a different way. Like and no one's going to tell you what that way is. You have to find out for yourself. And so there's been a lot of doing the last 5 years. And so like, you're talking about you feeling all these blessings come when you're resting, and I feel like I'm in that same place. Like I feel like I'm in that allowance, like the trust and the allowance. Like I feel like I'm finally there. And it's so cool to hear like I'm not alone in that.
mhm,
And like I just feel like for me, I think like when I think of like Mars and Venus, or I think of like masculine and feminine energy, and I mean that outside of a binary, I mean that outside of gender, they're both spectrums. I think doing and being is the same energy. It's the spectrum of the same energy. And I think doing something is productive and receiving is productive. And if you're doing and not receiving, you're burning out, which is we're both people who give so much. So how can we be giving, 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 doing, 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 and not receiving? So it's just so beautiful for us to both be in the same place to just be like, you know what? I'm gonna allow. And I've decided a couple months ago, I was like, I'm rebuking survival mode. Like I'm not doing survival mode. Like And, a couple hours ago, I had to sit and just realize, like, I'm safe, like, I'm okay. Like, my circumstance is completely different than it was a few months ago, but my body and my mind hasn't caught up yet. And so
Mhm.
I'm like, what can I do to, like, be present and remind myself that, like, I'm okay. I can receive. Rest is productive. Like, you can enjoy the harvest. You planted the seed, you've been breaking your back in the field. Can you smell the flowers? You
Right.
have to. Like, that's what the season is requiring. So I'm just wishing and hoping that we just allow and just that's just as productive as doing. Like,
Yes, yes, I am at a season of allowance. But I want to ask you in terms of trust, where did you get your trust or distrust from? And how much of it is you and how much of it is your parent? Ooh,
sips tea.
I think I need to sip some tea.
Sips tea.
Okay.
Do I have
Let's
trust issues? Yes, I have trust issues.
okay. Okay. So
I have trust issues, and context for all those who are hopping in. I'm Faye. This is just Arlene. We are both creatives, we're both artists, and we're both human beings in this moment, but we're also mother and daughter. And this is generation transformation because we don't believe we want to be more productive when it comes to generational conversations instead of it being a divide. How can we exchange wisdom between each other? So I just want to provide that context. So this is my mother that I'm talking to, but she wants to be referred to as just Arlene, and we honor preferred names over here today. So, um, trust. How much of my trust issues are mine, and how much are my parent, which would be you. Um,
you got a father.
I do have a father. And the issues I got.
So why do I get to do this by myself? Not you defending your daddy. Oh my gosh. But go ahead. I'll take.
No, daddy
I'll take.
issues. I just
I'll take.
just told you I had daddy issues. No.
You got daddy issues. Oh, okay. He ain't got nothing to do with me.
Trust issues. So I guess I should provide context of how I engage with trust. So for me, I'm still figuring out if I have trust issues or I'm just a slow burn. And I think it's okay with being a slow burn. I think it just takes me some time to just get to know people. And I think when I go back to what I was saying before about making money, I'm just someone who has to go at a slower pace. That's just me. And I think that is how I approach trust with people. And I will say for a long time, I think obviously when I think of trust, I think of making new connections and making friends. And I'm in, my 30s trying to make friends and trying to understand how you make friends. Because for a long time, building relationships and establishing trust, I didn't really build trust, but I built relationships. And my relationships were built on transactions. So was making transactional
Mhm.
friendships and relationships with people. And I thought love was conditional. I thought it's like, if you do this thing for me, I do this thing for you. That's how we become friends.
Yeah.
So now I'm realizing trust for me is being defined because I'm unsubscribing that love is conditional. And so I think I'm still defining what trust is, but in that I'm also understanding I think I'm just slower to it. And where does that come from? I think that's just me. I think that is me. I will say though, there are ways that I move through the world based on my conditioning from you as my parent, which aren't necessarily bad. I would say I get my street smarts from you. And like, I am naturally skeptical of a lot of things because you are also a naturally skeptical, cautious person. And that's just something I get from you. Like, I can read a situation, I can read a person very well. I'm an intuitive person, but also you are that way. So I've got that conditioning from you. Um, we don't trust no government officials. We don't trust nothing. So I will say my trust I won't say my trust issues, but the way I approach trust is a percentage of it is me, and a percentage of it is my conditioning from how I grew up. And it's not
Mhm,
like you spoon fed me. It was like, this is trust, but
mhm.
I just witnessed you growing up, and I just saw how skeptical you are of everybody, or how two steps ahead you are all the time. And I think I just naturally am like, don't let nobody come to your house. Like, don't let nobody know your name. Like just little things. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's real. I did do that a lot, and it also could be the career path I chose, being from New York, and you have to have some street smarts to move through New York and survive it back in the day. So you
Do
just
you
didn't you just didn't let and even today, even to this day, I still don't just let anyone in the home because sometimes people don't have good intention. And the one thing you don't want is someone that doesn't have good intentions in your home.
Yeah.
A home is my sacred place, and therefore my sanctuary, it's everything. So having someone who have ill intentions or ill spirits, or the what do you call it? Muji mojo, or mojo muji on them, and then they bring it and leave it into my house. I don't appreciate that. Like, for example, I lived somewhere with someone, and like when I wasn't home, they went in my room,
Mm,
and their spirit was still heavily in there. And I said to the person, "You was in my room because I
yeah.
feel your presence."
Mm,
And they were just like, "What's wrong with you?" They was trying to make it like something was wrong with me, but at the same time, they was looking like, "Oh, the heck she knew." I'm like, "I feel your spirit here. You left that behind." So you got to think, when people are entering your home, it's the same thing. They leave that behind. So I'm always, you got to be my home. I probably could count the people that just been to my home that like I really didn't know or anything like that. So nah, I can't have anybody in your home. Your home is your sanctuary. It's definitely not in your bedrooms. Woo! Because you just don't, some people just don't know. You don't know what people do when they're outside your presence. So I'm a very spiritual being. I have a lot of little friends that surround me. Um, so I'm happy with them, and you know,
you talk
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
In this moment, I'm really just realizing how much you instilled in me street smart, but also how you just instilled in me naturally just spiritual protection. And you didn't say this is spiritual protection, but like, just by you just not having anybody come to our house, or me not just going to anybody's house, or not just eating nobody's food, like not just letting nobody be in my hair, like that was, that's spiritual protection, and we don't name those things, but it's things that we do in the Black community. It's something that you do all the time.
Yeah. Even to this day, still, I'd rather my hair look a hot mess than to have anyone that I don't know really grabbing their hands through my hair. And which goes to say, like, even right now, that's why my hair is protected.
Yes, this are
This is your head is a big portal, and people don't realize the energy that goes in and comes out, goes in and goes out. People don't realize that,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know. And I'm very in tune with, like, when you're gonna do certain things, cover your head. Back in the old folk day, you went to church, what'd you do? You covered your head.
Spiritual
There's
protection.
there's a reason why you cover your head.
Mm,
There's a reason why you cover your head. And like you said, I didn't say it like that, but to me, it's just normal practices. To me, it was just that sacredness. So I ain't never give it a name or anything. It's just that's just how I move. And not only that, I can't remember my mother talking about spirituality like that. These are just things that I've learned on my own.
yeah, yeah.
So
Well, you've always been really spiritual. Like, I just remember, like, all the Egyptian books in your room. Like, you
Y
always had something about Egypt. Like, Black
yeah.
Scroll Jesus. Like, you've always been like just a philosopher, like a theologian, low key. Like, you've just always
No,
been
'cause
in
I
religion.
I have the need to learn and know, and, I wanted to always know from a young age what was right. And still at this rightful age in my 50s, won't say how old in my how deep into my 50s, but at this rightful age in my 50s, I still don't really know because you have to you have to deprogram to reprogram.
This is our first conversation. How are we getting into it like this? I was this hour. How are we even getting into it like this? Continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Please continue.
You know, because we were taught a lot of stuff that not necessarily may have been the truth. We were given a lot of lies. And from a young age, let me see, because I've always had these books, reading Pale the White Horse and all these types of books like that, Illuminati, and all these types of books like that. You know, I remember having study groups about with these books and, you know, going to work and we having study groups. We were supposed to be working, but we found time to study together. And just everything that I was taught, something always seemed wrong with it, whether it was religion, relationship, human to human communications. It's just I just found a lot of wrong with a lot of things. And in my natural being, I felt something was always off or wrong.
Yeah.
So I seek knowledge. I seek knowledge. And I'm gonna tell you, I could the amount of books that I've read, the stuff that I know at this age in my life, and you know, life happens. I can't even remember all the stuff that whew, that I had knowledge of. I can't even remember all the stuff. And to on this in this very moment, I don't have the capacity to take in any more stuff because oof, I have studied, I have researched, and just when you think you know the answer, it changes.
Mm.
You learn something different. You learn a new perspective about it, and then you go, maybe that wasn't true either.
Yeah.
So it's a constant learning thing. But what I've learned about life is you have to move through this world with what resonates and fits with you. I can't say what my parents did is a good fit for me. I can't say like even in terms of religion, I never forced any religion on you because I wanted you to choose for yourself what was right for you.
Child. And I still ended up where I ended up, child.
And you know, but that's just religion. But spirituality is totally different
Mm.
than religion. Because when you talked about division, I believe religion keeps us divided as well. Spirituality, I believe, brings us closer because we're more focused on the beings that we are versus trying to prove what's in the book and what's right and what's wrong.
Mhm.
Because you know, a spiritual, you're moving from within. Religion, you're moving from a book, pretty much. You're not just naturally moving from your being, and it makes a difference.
Yeah. I think because religion became dogma and because I think there's ritual and I think ritual is important, but when you remove the significance from ritual, it becomes dogma. It becomes autopilot. It becomes just this thing you do and it's oh, we just do that because we do.
Just because, yeah, we do it just because. But if I ask you a question and you say, "I don't know," but I'm moving because that's always what I learned. That
Yeah.
doesn't rest easy with me. Oh well, I'm just doing it because that's what I was taught. But you don't even know why you're doing it. I have a big problem with that.
Mhm.
I remember asking a gentleman one time, like, he was pressing marriage. I said, "Why do you want to get married?" And he couldn't answer. I said, "No, seriously, what makes you want to be married?" "Oh, my parents did it." That's not a reason.
Yeah.
That's not a reason. And we're not living in your parents' time where marriage, you had to marry for this reason or that reason. Today you have a choice to say, okay, I want to marry for love, I want to marry for this, I want to marry for that. And back in the days, the people really did that, to say they want to marry for these specific reasons other than you cook and you make money.
Like
You
gender
know? Huh?
like gender roles.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not to say marriage is a bad thing, but I don't want to marry someone who doesn't know why they want to be married. Because you're just marrying because your parents do it. That's not a reason for you to do it. What is your reason?
Yeah, with your own personal story. And I think that's what happened to religion is the stories were removed, the significance was removed. It was the roots were removed. And I think that's kind of what my issue is with a lot of like new age spirituality when we see like a lot of these white practitioners talk about these big esoteric concepts, but they remove the foundation and the ritual and the root of the thing. And
Mhm.
so it becomes these big theoretical, oh, fest, oh, just attract, and they remove the story, they remove the roots and the foundation of these like esoteric concepts and simplify them, and no real guidance or direction. And ritual is what grounds you. And so I feel like religion and new age spirituality are one and the same. It's just a distortion of like story and truths that we've known and we've had like across land, not even
Mhm.
just in the Black community, but like just Black and brown communities in general. Like, so you
Huh? I didn't.
I said we really get it.
Do anybody have any questions or comments?
Yeah. Anybody in the chat?
Or how do you feel about the conversation and what's your input?
If you have any, you chill environment. Also, what are your thoughts about lives on Substack? Because I'm just trying to figure out what people are responding to. Like, I really also this is eucalyptus. That one's really sus. Um, yeah. So we can wait for anyone to respond if they want to. But if you had any other questions, or if you want to close out, you can do it.
Does it tell you how long we've been on?
It doesn't tell you how long we've been on, but we've been on for about 40 minutes.
About 40 minutes. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to know? And we
You
can
know,
do. We can actually do this another time. I had a great time. It was a great conversation. Um, I hope in the. I hope. Please stand by for the commercial.
go off, Queen. Do you think, Queen?
I hope that your trust issues that started and ended with me, I hope that you are able to forgive me. Let's not forget my book on forgiveness. I am the author of this book on forgiveness. I don't know how you where's the camera? Um so forgiveness is not for you. Forgiveness is for the other person. And this is a workbook. It's a slow progress workbook. You work it in your time and you have to do the work. To get the most out of the book, you have to actually do the work. And I've had a couple of people be like, "Ooh, uh, that takes some work. I ain't got time for that." I said, if you read the title, it says The Slow Work of Forgiveness Workbook. That's what it says. So you have to actually really do the work. You have to put in the time. You have set time aside to think about some of the things because there's a lot of information in there that makes you think, am I really in forgiveness? Did I really forgive this person? Am I still waiting for the person to apologize? Can I move on without the apology? Things like that. So I'm asking you to forgive me.
Me?
Yes, I'm asking you to forgive me with your trust issues that I created. Yes. So you don't have to answer right now, but I put it out there. My apologies. I'm sorry. Yeah, but that's what it's about. You too have the book. How has your experience been working the book?
The book been working me. So the book has been working me, that's for sure. That's definitely for sure. It's definitely not something you're gonna do by the end of the week, but it's something to come back to and savor and sit with and process and learn, unlearn, apply. It's just
Yeah,
something to just like sit with the concept, live your days, live your week, see how that concept shows up in your life. So it's like that's why it's like a slow work of forgiveness. Like and
yeah. You
definitely
definitely.
continue to seek therapy, that's for sure.
Well, what I did pair with a life coach. So I actually I encourage everybody to either get an accountability partner, life coach, therapist, and it just helps you streamline your life. I mean, I'm sure we all think we got it together. Nobody got it more together than I thought I did. And hey, listen, but when I broke down, I broke down. There was no recovery without help, and not in alcoholic or drug form, but just coming back, just recovery from just being broken. So those is one of the things. But I definitely had a great time, and I thank you for inviting me, and I hope to do this again.
Yes, that was a do we feel transformed? Do we feel like generation transformation?
Yeah, it's good because we have a different perspective of things, and it feels good to actually like hear you talk from you and maybe possibly your peers. So it feels good to hear how y'all think versus how I think, and it feels good to see how we can mend the bridge, fill the gaps that we have, and learn to communicate. We've done what was it? What did we do on that show that they asked us to come back? What was that?
A panel workshop. Whatever.
A panel workshop, yeah. So, we done the panel workshop and just
A
doing
panel
that.
workshop. It's not. Let's put it right.
It's a what?
Workshop. It was a workshop.
A workshop. Okay, so what we learned from that is like there's a need for these types of conversation. There's a growing need because my generation and older are trying to figure out how to communicate with your generation. How do we talk to each other? Because, hey, let's not think that we were this close all the time. We've had our bumps in the road, honey. We've had our
Yeah.
also learn to communicate. We also, the hardest thing was listening to you talk about me and tell me how you felt, your perspective. Um, and it wasn't my intent, but it didn't matter what my intentions were. The way you received is the way you receive it, and I don't get to tell you you're wrong.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the hardest things is listening to you tell me, well, you did this as a mother and da da da. And I'm going, no, I didn't. And so I was in my feelings about the things you were saying about me. So I had to one day just sit down and say, let me just sit down, be quiet, and think about what she said. But wait a minute, I don't get to tell her how she feels. I don't get to tell her how she received what I said or what I did.
Mm.
But if she received it that way, even though that wasn't my intent, I still owe her an apology. Um,
Intention versus impact.
I'm sorry?
Intention versus impact.
Yeah. So once we got over that and we learned to communicate, including having our little safe word, um, things got better. And they continue to get better and better and better. And today we respect each other's time. We respect each other's safe spaces and
Yeah,
boundaries.
these buzzwords. Yes, safe space. Yes.
Yes, yes. So Maybe next time we'll talk about how we navigate through our safe words and what happens after we say the safe word. And
Ah, it sounds like BDSM.
it's not that, but
I'm done.
not that, but it's one of those things that could be used multi purposes.
It's time to go. From our sponsor, which was you. Uh, so yeah, no, I thoroughly had a great conversation with you. I learned so much about you. Interestingly enough, as much as we talk all the time, I feel like it was really, oh, come on. Yes. Come on. Do you know how to do the other one? I don't know how to do the other one.
That's
What
as
are
good as
the,
that's as good as I'm gonna get.
the kids are doing something. I don't know what the kids are doing. Something, I guess. It's weird, but they're like doing something funky.
Yeah, so well, I thank you for having me again. As I stated before, this has been great.
Yeah.
And don't download. I would love to hear the replay.
Yes, it's gonna be somewhere. I don't know. I gotta find it and send it to you.
Oh my. So if I hit this is my first time on Substack, so I really don't.
No, I really don't. But yeah, thank you all for spending the time with us. We're now gonna play around with the app. So just play around since you're here, Mom. Play around since you're here.
Um play around with it's not that it's
Bull in my nose this whole time. That's correct.
not that many buttons on here. Oh wait, she went somewhere. Wait, did I go somewhere? Who went somewhere? I see you still talking. Oh, wait. Oh. Oh, so when I hit the shared button,
I'm so done.
so if I hit the share button and we go off, is it gonna share the recording to people?
I don't know. I think like it'll do it on my end. I don't know if it'll do it on your end. That's new. So
I don't see any other buttons to really play around with. I see this is a reverse, this is a microphone. I don't see anything else to play with.
well then
All
we can
right.
pop off.
I could go get some dinner. Can't wait to taste your dinner. All right. Bye bye. Love you.
It's time for me to cook. Oh wow, so excited.